Oh my gosh, it's recording. Hey, all you cool cats and road runners. Welcome to another episode of Tucson Talks. We are your co-host, Jax Moyer and Will Moyer.
Hi.
Will. We took off last week. It was Memorial Day weekend, and although we didn't do anything too crazy, we did binge watch The Sopranos and almost got through season 4. So that was pretty much the highlight of a Memorial Day weekend. And we do have a debate going on between who's Tony and who's Carmela. So maybe later on in the episode, we'll get our guests' intake or input on that. But for those of you tuning in, just a reminder, Tucson Talks was created as a web series to dedicate time to guest stars who have a Tucson presence, whether through being a community connector, entrepreneur, pioneer, staple, or just someone who's simply cool and we wanted to chat with. This is a segment presented by Jaxon Life Design, an agency providing consulting services with soul through personal professional development, as well as interior design and home organization. So please check out jaxonlifedesign.com, and information will be included in the description of the video. We are excited with our guest today, Melissa Lopez. A little background on her: over a year ago, she married her love of fitness and nutrition with a business called Mello Macros. Get it? The purpose is to provide a chill approach to change by turning nutrition noobs into macro counting monsters.
Ooh.
Mello Macros information can be included or is included in the video description. And with that, we say welcome, Melissa. How are you today?
Welcome, Melissa.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm fabulous today.
Fabulous is good. Obviously follow you on Instagram and your Insta stories, and you've had some recent run-ins with nature. How are you healing from that?
What happened?
I'm taking up mountain biking. I'm trying to be a mountain biker. And last week I went on a trail that I had no business going on. And I pretty much fell off a bridge. So that was the first one. And then I did it again. I tried it again. And I ended up hitting trees twice. And then just this recent one, I was trying to cross that same bridge that I didn't nail the first time. Didn't nail it again. And then I ended up getting like total, like I'm all scratched up. And I think I had a bad reaction. Went to the dermatologist this morning. Got steroid cream, because sure enough, I busted out in hives on all my wounds. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, but it's so much fun. So I'm like, I'm gonna not go on trails yet until I nail, like, you know, kind of like my confidence. And then I'll try it again.
What did the dermatologist say that caused the breakout? Just something in the shrubs?
Well, it's because I already have like eczema.
Yeah.
Like, not that I have it right now, but when my body is going through some kind of stress, so obviously, you know, like those gashes that were on my arm, and then plus it was on a bush this time, so the other ones that were healing really well, those are scratches from rocks and like maybe trees. But this was a straight up like big old bush, and I was covered in choya, and it was just awful. And so my body just completely reacted, and I was gonna like show it on my story, but I'm like, no, it looks really gross. And so I would not appreciate like seeing that on someone. So
I hate big old bushes. Ugh.
Yeah, bushes are awful.
Get them out of here.
Take them off.
Well, in the words of Aaliyah, pick yourself up and try it again.
Oh, I did.
Right. I think that's what
it
it is.
Well, the thing is, as soon as I fell, I'm like, I waited until I made sure I was like, okay, I can feel my body, my head's fine. Thank God I had this helmet on. Okay, I need to jump on the bike, because as soon as fear takes over, you're done, because that just takes over your mind and you no longer want to get. So I was afraid of fear, so I jumped back on the bike and I made it home.
Love it. So besides mountain biking, how else have you been coping with our current COVID environment? How's it impacted you?
Oh my God. You know, honestly, I didn't think it was going to affect me, but it really hit me with insomnia. Like, I mean, I had insomnia like straight for like 4 weeks straight. 2:00 in the morning, you would think I just took a Red Bull because I was just wide. I just could not go to bed.
Wow.
And it's like you're thinking just because it didn't like directly affect maybe your lifestyle, or I don't know. It's just you don't really know what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
It was awful, but it allowed me to spend time with my family. I became my nephew's coach.
Nice.
While they were still in school, they would call me Coach Nina.
Oh,
Take them
nice.
to the park, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So there was a lot of bonding going on, a newfound love for this thing that doesn't love me back quite yet, but yeah. And then the gym, obviously, I used to go to the gym at 5 a.m. Gym's closed, so there was no reason for me.
What gym do you go to?
LA Fitness. So there was no reason for me waking up at 4:30 in the morning anymore. So I was just like, yeah, it just messed up my whole routine. I just recently started waking up early again because it just threw me for a loop. My whole like.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you a Tucson native?
Am I what?
Are you a Tucson native?
Yes, I am.
Oh, nice. How long have you been in Tucson? I know you went to ASU.
Sun Devil, Tucson Sun Devil. I left, born and raised, but right after I graduated, I moved.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I wasn't actually even thinking about going to college until my science teacher, because I was always like the school kid. I was always, getting 108% and everything. And so I was always the one allowed to leave and go to lunch or bring back the teacher some sandwich or whatever. And when he asked me, so what are you going to do after high school? I was like, oh, just probably take a break. And he was just like, a break? A break from what? I'm like, oh, just a break from school. And he was just like, Melissa Lopez, you are a turd head. And you're always going to be a turd head until you figure out what you want to do. And my high school self was this little like bratty, like, ugh, don't call me that, And I remember the next day I made up this lie, just to kind of like, I'll show you. I was like, oh yeah, Mr. Posey, his name was Posey, Glenn Posey. I was like, Mr. Posey, yeah, so I'm going to ASU. And in my head, I felt that he was going to tell me like, no, well, don't go that extreme, try something like, try taking baby steps. And his response was like, good, I'm glad. And he's like, make sure you fill out the FAFSA form. And I'm just like, oh yeah. So I filled it out as like, to play along with this lie that I was telling him.
Yeah.
And I filled out the form, and then I got approved. I'm like, well,
going to
giving
school.
me money, right? So then I was like, well, I'm just gonna tell my friends when ASU now. So I was like telling this lie, like, yeah, I'm going to ASU, blah blah blah. And then I was like, Mom, I have orientation on this day. So I'm just like, okay, day comes, we go to orientation, get my classes. I'm like, well, that's gonna suck for them because I'm gonna like just drop out. And then next thing you know, she's buying me all this stuff for my dorm. And then we get to my dorm, and I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be so embarrassing because after this first semester, I'm gonna go back and everyone's gonna know I failed, and that like I'm not smart.
You had it predetermined in your head.
And so I was like, okay. I remember even like during classes, I would pass certain tests. I'm like, they probably gave me like an easy class because I'm not smart, so I'm probably just passing it because this is stupid. This is easy. And then I remember a class that I had. It was 500 students. It was an intro to business, and there was an exam that was worth 250 points. And the professor said the average to that exam was 178. And I was just like, oh, all those kids that are a lot smarter than me got a 178. Well, what the hell did I get? So then I got the exam back and I got 245 out of 250. So after a while, I was just kind of like doing my own things without questioning it anymore. And next thing you know, like I graduated and started doing all that stuff. And then I realized I was not faking it till I made it. I faked it until I became it. So I had to like lie until I caught up with who I really was. Like,
that's awesome.
So yes, I stayed there for for that time. And then I worked in nonprofit world, and then I went back to ASU to get a master's, and I worked some more. So like 13 years in Phoenix.
Wow.
What made
And
you twirl on down to Tucson?
What?
What made you twirl on back to Tucson?
Well, so after going to school, then having my whole lifestyle was in Phoenix, Tempe. And, you know, when you are in high school, you just want that like fast life, you know, Scottsdale, clubs, and that was all so much fun. Would never do that now. But
Whiskey Row.
so yeah. So after my master's, I should probably, here we go. After my master's, like everything was totally like saturated, like the market for marketing communications. So I decided to make my own opportunity. And someone who I used to work with in the county, he ended up starting his own business in Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
And I would follow their blog. And they would talk about the business. And I always had this marketing, you know, business development, like, oh, you guys should do this. You should do this. Or you should do this. You know, I was always sending stuff. And one day they asked if I would be able to Skype with them. And they're like, you know, my partner and I were talking about it, and we want you to, if, you know, we know you're not working right now, like if you, you know, come over, we'll fly you over here. And they're a recruiting agency. So they're just like, come over, we'll pay for you coming here, housing, everything, in exchange for consultation. And we'll be getting you a job. You know, we'll be placing you in marketing with like for profit. So I was like, I remember looking out of the window and looking at my Jeep. I had a Jeep Cherokee back then. And I was like, I just paid that off. I could totally sell it and use this as cushion money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I sold my car, went to Cambodia, got another job. It was just freaking awesome. And when I moved back, my sister had, you know, taken like the second, like she turned a chapter in her life where she was like a single mom now, and she had 2 kiddos. One of them is on the autism spectrum. My mom would help her out a lot. She was actually moving to St. Louis for 6 months to help out the families that she worked with get settled in. So she was going to be all by herself. And for me, when I came back from Cambodia, I lived in Phoenix again, and I was doing a lot of freelance. And my contract, I didn't want to renew them. So I knew my sister was going to be alone, and she has 2 kiddos. One of the kiddos who's on the autism spectrum has a ton of therapy. And I was just like, you know, my like 13 years of my life, I spent putting my career first. And I feel like everything happened for a reason. I'm not contracted with anyone right now. I can move to Tucson, and, you know, to make my mom feel better because she knows she's leaving and she's gonna still have me. I can like be like, you know, the dad. Yeah. So I moved back, and I lived with my sister. I was just like, I'm just gonna live off my savings and whatever I made in Cambodia, because obviously I wasn't paying anything there. And I was able to take the kiddos to school, take them to therapies. I was like doing all that while my sister was working, and then and going to school at the time. And after I was like, okay, well, when my mom comes back, I'm gonna be applying to jobs back in Phoenix. And I remember I came across a job at TSU, and I was just like, I really, really liked it. And the more I read into it, the more I was like, oh my God, this is mine. Like, I want this. This is mine. And I was like, I had interviews in Phoenix set up already, like 3 of them. And I was like, if I get this though, I don't care what, you know, Phoenix offers. I'm too used to being with my family, and I missed out on my nephews, you know, growing up, and I don't ever want to do that again. Yeah. So I got the job, and I stayed in Tucson.
The rest is history.
Love it.
Tucson Ties. This place is
Wait,
magic.
can't
I
hear
think
you.
so. You can't
Wait.
hear me?
Oh my gosh, I can't hear anything you said.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, after I stopped talking, I was like, oh my God.
Tucson Ties, Tucson Ties. So you obviously have had quite a journey to get to your professional self. What do you wish you had known when you started your career path? Like looking back on like lessons learned or anything, like what's the one big takeaway looking back on your career development that you're like, wow, I wish I knew that at the start?
Honestly, I don't regret, or I just feel like anything I did, I had to go through it. Like
building
everything
blocks.
that happened was for a reason. I was exactly where I needed to be at that time. Like every single little thing. Like the people I met. Oh, I'm so sorry. If my background's throwing anybody else.
Your hair got caught.
Do this and swipe it to the side. Yeah, I don't know. I was very. There was times where I was very naive, and there's times where I kind of like stay up at night. I'm just like, oh my God, how did I not die? Like, be so like careless. But
makes you who you are, right?
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you most curious about right now?
What am I most curious about? I'm just trying to figure out. I don't know why. Like, I have so much like as you get older,
How to cross that bridge?
One, right. So I think that the reason why I'm doing a lot of stuff is just like I can't stand fear. Like I look at my little niece, Sophia, and she's gold, man. Like that. I want to be like her. Like she can care less. She sends me these videos, her TikTok videos, and then she's 8 years old. I'm just like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care what people say about her. She went mountain biking with us. She crossed the damn bridge twice. You know, like she's just like, and for me, I'm just like, what's holding me back? And so it's my own stuff. So I'm trying to be more in action because it's a moment of just like those quiet moments where your mind takes over and you start overthinking everything, and then fear starts taking over because you start playing all these scenarios in your head. So right now I'm trying to be, okay, when you're in action, you're like, your fear is silenced. So sure. Yeah, I'm just trying to like figure out, do what I can so that I can finally just kind of like let it go, because
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we share the same blood, so I can be just as badass as she can.
There you go, right? She probably looks up to you too. So it's like, so you have marketing and business development background. You're also in fitness world. If you could choose another profession or another career route, what would you pick?
Oh, another career route. Oh, I always just wanted to like, I always thought I always want to do something where I just travel and meet people. So if I can travel and just interview people, just say like I got hired to do this documentary where they're just interviewing people everywhere, that would just be ideal. Just to travel and meet people, and it opens your eyes up of how small our minds could be if we're not exposed to different countries and different cultures. And so definitely be a journalist or something. Just goes out.
Yeah, we're big fans of traveling abroad just to get those different perspectives. And we were actually gonna go to Vietnam in April for 2 weeks, but that had to go away.
What didn't happen?
No.
That got canceled real quick.
So we're exploring Tucson.
That's one thing I'm curious about, is when the international travel is going to be more of a
lifted regulations. So I have a couple quick fire questions. What does a Saturday night in Tucson look like for you?
Oh my God, Melissa, at this age?
Yeah.
Saturday
Not
night.
Tempe, Melissa.
No, even Tempe, Melissa. That my like, you would think maybe I was a party girl at like 23. 5, I stopped all that. They'd call me the nana because my friends would go out and I'd be like, all right, guys, have fun. My pizza's coming, you know. But Saturday night, I love to eat. So just kind of like, you know, hanging out with friends. I'm actually meeting up with a friend I haven't seen in a while. And it's just, I love chill moments and just that involve food. Yeah.
What's your favorite podcast or TV series you're tuning into right now?
The podcast I listen to is Beyond the Image with James Patrick, who covers a lot of things within business and just kind of like getting out of your head and just brings people on and that really just sometimes I'll just randomly scroll until I pick something, and I remember I landed on like Heidi Powell's interview, and it's exactly what I needed to hear. So sometimes I just like whenever, I don't know if you've ever had those moments where you need to hear something inspirational, or you're kind of like your soul is thirsty for something.
Yeah.
You just start scrolling something, you're like, okay, whatever lands, like I meant to listen to that, I meant to hear that. So
big time.
Yeah, and it's also nice to drive and just kind of listen to some inspiring stuff.
What's something that, tell me something that's true that almost nobody agrees with you on.
Something that's true that nobody agrees with me on?
Counting macros really works.
I think a lot of people agree with me on that.
It does work.
I think people agree with me on that.
Yeah.
One thing I would always say before, though, this is like random, I'd be like, George Clooney is the hottest person in the world. I don't care how old he is.
I think everyone agrees with you on that too.
Well, I guess not my family.
I don't think he's the hottest person in the world.
I mean, that was like
yeah.
5. I don't know. I think the last time I saw him that way was when he got married. I was just like, you know what? I'm glad he got married because that kind of takes away that like on a pedestal kind of person where he's like, oh my gosh, he's like not a human. And then when he got married, I'm just like, oh, good for him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm over you.
You were selected to host a masterclass. What is your core message to the audience?
I was just trying to break down, just simplify people's lifestyle. So I did a Mastering Macros workshop. Is that what you're talking about? The Mastering Macros?
Yeah.
Okay. I did. Wait, did you ask me a hypothetical?
I mean,
or did you ask me about the class that I did take?
Yeah. Whether you did it or if you would do it. So you can go.
Yeah. On your history.
If I were to do, wait, because I can answer both. Which one am I answering?
Go with what you were doing.
Yeah.
Talk about your class, your workshop that you hosted.
Oh, the work. Okay, so the one that I hosted was just basically breaking it down. I like to explain to people ways that, like in the ways that I learned it, like counting macros, and just how it simplifies your journey. It takes away restrictions. And once you have the tools, the information, the knowledge, then it really just simplifies a lot of things. It takes away stress, but it's just kind of feeding people bite-sized information pieces and kind of like holding their hand along the way and making sure that I present things without assuming that they already know, because that's one of like the biggest, a lot of people that are just starting a fitness journey, they're very intimidated or even scared to ask what macros are, what the buzzword is, because people talk to them as if they know, like, oh yeah, macros this, macros that. And so I know for me, when I heard stuff like that, I would just play along like, yeah, I have 10 macros left, whatever, you know, like, I hope I used it right. But just breaking things down, like counting, you know, alcohol calories, and just kind of breaking down these little things and making sure I ask them what they want to know so that I can include it in the presentation.
Cool.
So I think that was the first question.
Do you have any future workshops planned?
Well, that was crazy because I did plan to, that was in February, and my plan was like, okay, to have one a month, and then this happened. So pivot, we'll see how it happens, but I'm still gonna, so now we're gonna do a little like, which I'll talk about later, but more of a online thing.
Yeah, well, let's segue into that. So we like to have a soulful plug moment with our guests. So kind of like a shameless plug, but there's no shame in plugging yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want
so
to know the specs and deets of Mello
So
Macro.
next week, I will be announcing a 21-day program. I was initially going to do 30 days and start it on June 1st on a Monday. And that was totally in my head because I wanted to do macros and mindset. And I got in my own head about like, oh my gosh, this needs to be out by the 1st on a Monday because then it's not going to feel right. And I can't tell people that you can start anything at any time and get in my head about it not happening on the 1st of the Monday on June. And I'm just like, whatever, like, and it not being 30 days, and I was like, actually, you can create a habit, 21 days. Yeah, you'll create your lifestyle in 90 days, but 21 days. And so I'll announce the details next week, but pretty much it's like this challenge and it has accountability. So it's about mindset, macros, and just simplifying your fitness journey. And I hold people's hands virtually along the way, virtually, because now we can't hold hands.
Do you have different tiers and packages for different people? Like what do costs associated with your services look like?
So right now, what I'm working on is because last year it was very not so like packaged all the way. Yeah. So now it was supposed to be workshops and then like a 30-day class or 21 days inside and then one-on-one coaching, which is a 12-week program. So it would be 30 days or a 12-week program, and those who join the 21 30 days can choose whether they want to continue. If they ask, well, what's next? Because they see how well this kickstart was, they can decide. But cool. I usually like to, anybody who's even curious about it, I like to just converse for like 15 minutes so they can tell me where they're at in their journey. And if it's simply like just a suggestion or just give them tips, then that's all they need. I'm like, hey, like, okay, like just run me through your day. And then we'll do that. And at this point, I'm pretty good at just kind of like breaking down macros. I mean, honestly, I'll look at food and I'll break them down into those 3 things: protein, carbs, fat. And I can be like, well, right now, what you really just need to work on is doing this. So why don't you try to do this for the next week? I'll just give them like little tips, and I'm always available. But I'm not somebody who just wants to get people on their books. I'm just like, okay, this will work for you. Just try this. Let me know how it goes. And if they feel they could do it on their own, like that's awesome. I love to teach people how to fish. If they want more accountability and they know that they can kind of like move forward a little faster with me, then I'm here too. But usually I just want to get on a call with them, 15 minutes. Sometimes it's just me giving them advice, a quick little like, try this, or you can do this, or and giving them that.
I'm excited to hear what the details are, and those are going to be posted through your Instagram?
Yes, Facebook, Instagram. So either way, and we'll have a group. So I'm really excited about the things that are going to be announced.
Yeah, look forward to it. We'll make sure to include all that social channel information in the description. So since this is all about Tucson and the community, if you had a opportunity, or if you haven't, or this is your opportunity, who would you highlight as a local nonprofit or social service that people should be aware of supporting?
I would definitely have to say Girl Scouts of Southern Arizona. You said nonprofit, right?
Yep.
I think a lot of people, and it's amazing when they want to support. Some people will shy away from supporting Girl Scouts because like, oh, they're good. We want to support, you know, women who are suffering and women who need help. And I think that's so important. And I'm so thankful that there is organizations that take care of girls and women that need help. I also think, though, that people should not just want to help girls survive and recover. What about when they're good and we want to help them thrive? What about that? So Girl Scouts, a lot of people don't know. I don't know if you know like the social justice aspect of Girl Scouts, but they have a social impact group. I used to work for Girl Scouts in Phoenix. And I used to work in the social impact group. And every other weekend, we would go to the troop was called Girl Scouts Beyond Bars. And every other weekend, we would go to Perryville Prison or Estrella Jail, the county jail, and take girls whose moms are incarcerated. So for 2 hours, the moms who were incarcerated were primarily just moms. They were just there with their kids. We were doing arts and crafts. You know, they were eating breakfast with their mom, and I always want to get teared. I always tear up. It was just an amazing feeling, and no matter how many times we show up, you get the same like choked up. So I have girls who I'm still in contact with where I met them when they were little like this little girl, Adriana. She was very like mousy and super tiny little elementary kid. This lady is in the military, part-time, ASU, part-time. I attended her high school graduation. We still talk. She's at ASU right now. They're just amazing. These girls who had every reason to just shout out back at the world decided to go another direction because they had that consistency in Girl Scouts. They had that home and they had people who were really, really invested in them. So, you know, Girl Scouts, look into it because they do much more than just sell cookies.
Yeah, that's way beyond powerful than just selling cookies.
Yeah.
But how do the cookies fit into macros?
Oh my gosh, yeah. They're macros. That's why it's so important. Like, they fit your macros.
Which cookie's the worst?
The worst. I mean, you learn with macros. My favorite are Do-si-dos that are frozen. Do-si-dos are the ones that have peanut butter in them.
Yeah.
Freeze them, and they're just so good. So,
so
those and Thin Mints, I can just like go through a whole sleeve in like 5 minutes, whatever.
Same.
Like the moment I open them. So.
Same way.
But if you learn macros, you'll know how to fit them in. No guilt. You don't look at food as like good or bad anymore. You just kind of break them down to the like with whatever they're made of, and that's that.
Sounds reasonable. So playing Tucson tag, who should we tag as a potential guest star to appear on Tucson Talks in the future?
I would say my sister, Janine Valenzuela of Janine Artistry.
She's fabulous.
She's fabulous.
It's a family thing, I think, being fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the mom of Sophia, the little boss lady. Yeah, she has a very interesting story. She had, I remember she had a barbershop before, and somebody burned that down, and she wouldn't stop. She just kept going. And now she has her own business. The thing about Janine, she worked at a salon before starting her own salon. She wanted to continue her education. So she's like, oh, I want to be an educator. Instead of management, her leadership supporting that vision or saying like, great, you know, we'll get you some workshops so you can do this and that, they said, that's really hard. You know, that's going to be really hard. And she was just like, oh, okay. And she was kind of busting her butt. She, you know her personality. People just want to come in to see her. And she finally had like the guts to ask for a raise, and they're like, no. So she's, they did not help her grow, so they had to watch her go. And she literally opened up her shop down the damn street, like on the thing.
All right. Hey, it's a good work-life
And
balance. Really.
she's thriving. She's her own boss. Like I look up to her. As short as she is, I look up to her. She's, you know, it's awesome. And she's the one that's kind of like made me feel like I want my own thing, you know. Like, I'm the only person stopping myself from doing something about it. So I definitely would tag Janine Artistry on that one.
Noted. Well, thank you, Melissa, for your time today and being a guest star on Tucson Talks.
Thanks for having me.
We loved your insight and journey. Although I do have a question, coming back to the start of our episode. Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
No. I never seen not one episode.
It's like the best TV show alive, they say. It's not my favorite, but it's really good.
I guess I can't ask you who of Will and I is Tony and Carmela.
I know, when you said that, like, I'm gonna ask you later. I'm like, oh God, I don't know. Let me Google it.
It's a little obscure, Jax.
I haven't seen that. Haven't seen Game of Thrones. I haven't, you know.
Well, make note if you ever do. We'll
I mean,
follow up with you on
I'll
that.
Google it.
Google. All right. Well, for more information about this program, as well as other services offered by Mello Macros or Jaxon Life Design, please visit the socials and website in the video description. Until next time, stay well, stay focused, and stay connected. Thank you, Melissa. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.